This is Terrence, aka the Flying Hawaiian, on another video of how to disassemble and reassemble a firearm. Today we're doing the 1911. This is the Rock Island 1911 I'll be working on. I wish it was the Colt, man. That's the iconic one. But I'm also going to show you how to clean it as well too, with the right amount of cleaner and oil to be able to lubricate your firearm. So let's get right on down to it. And now we're doing the 1911 here. We got our cleaning supplies because I'm going to do a little cleaning on this one, my own personal 1911. Then, so I got my tools, brushes, everything we need to disassemble and reassemble this 1911. So I'm going to put my cleaning supplies off to the side and break down what tools I have. I have two flathead screwdrivers. They're going to be used to remove a few items right off the 1911 you're going to need. I have a small one and about two sizes up to help get them up. I'm going to put this off to the side. I got my brushes, so when we go do the cleaning, when we clean up real good, show you how to properly clean the 1911. I got two punches. These are going to help get some of these pins out of this 1911 so we can break them down. So I'll put these off to the side. Now I got the hammer to use on those punches. Then I also got the 1911 wrench for the front part, and I also got my bench block. So now first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna make sure the 1911 is clear. So we're gonna remove the magazine. I'm gonna put it right off the side and see no ammunition in it. Then we're gonna rack back the slide. You see no ammunition in here. You clearly see down with no ammunition in the magazine well or the chamber. Alright, now that we got the 1911 clear and free of any debris, as you see, we're now gonna field strip it. Very simple. Rack the slide back forward. Now we're gonna take the 1911 wrench. We're gonna undo this barrel bushing. Okay, and how we're gonna do that? We're gonna place this indentation part right here. We're gonna push down. Okay, once we push down, we're gonna turn. Okay, turn, you hear a click, and turn it. Remember, keep a little bit of pressure on it so the recoil spring and recoil spring plunger don't eject out, as you see right there. Now we're going to leave it just like this for right now to start field stripping it. What I'm going to do, turn it or flip it back around. It's okay if that comes out. Now we're going to slide it back. Bit easier. Cock the hammer back. Slide it until you get to the first notch of the slide, to right here. Once we get the slide stop to the first notch, we're going to push on it the best we can. It might be a little tough, but you have to push right there. Slide stop will fall out. Pull. Now you have your slide stop out. Then slide all the way forward. So now we're going to put the frame off to the side. And slide the barrel back into place. Guide rod and spring back. Now we're going to take the barrel bushing, remove this guide rod and spring right there. Put that right off the side. Now we're going to turn the barrel bushing to the other side to completely unlock it so we can pull it right out. Exactly like that. Then we're able to take the barrel out. Now, so that's how you fill strip the 1911. Quick, simple, and easy. Now we're going to go a little further here in just a second. Alright. Now let's go a little further. So what I'm not going to be doing today, I'm not going to take the link and linkage and the link pin out. Okay, but they're right here. Pretty much take a punch and punch the pin out to remove it if we have to ever replace it. So we're going to set this off to the side. This is the guide rod right here and spring. Just pretty much disconnect them just like that to be able to clean it, put them back together just like that. Set that off the spine. Got your recoil spring plunger. So right there. So we're going to set the frame off to the side and work on the slide. The slide, what we're going to do, we're going to remove the firing pin block, the spring, and the extractor out of here. I'm not going to do anything with the rear sights because that's going to be a little bit more complicated. So let's start. What I'm going to do is push this firing spring in and slowly slide the fire pin block just like that. Just be careful because the fire pin is being compressed. So you get one with flatheads to help keep the retention on the spring so it does not eject out as we're removing the blockage. Then we're going to slowly move it exactly like that. And there's the firing pin right here. And we have the firing pin spring right here. Now, to get the extractor, we're going to use one of the flatheads to pop it in exactly like this. Angle it and slowly push out. Not too much because you don't want to damage the metal. Slowly. Then you should be able to pull it right out with your hands. There's the extractor right there. And that is it for the slide. Alright, now we're going to put the slide back together. Just to recap, we got the firing pin spring, the extractor, the firing pin, and the firing pin block to put back together right here. So we're going to start with the extractor. Pretty much you put it back in how you took it out, and you answer it nice and slow, just like that. It has to line up. It doesn't, you have to keep taking out, readjust it, and then push it back in to make sure you put it in the right spot. Exactly like that. Now we're going to take the firing pin spring and put it right back in there. Take the firing pin, put it like so. Then you can press it down with your thumb or your finger, but that can also be a little bit harder. because you lose grip, it's going to skyrocket out. If you don't have safety glasses, you might end up hitting yourself in the eye. Okay, so I'm going to take the flathead and compress it down and try to hold it there. Best I can. First, I'm gonna grab, let's see, starter punch. To help compress it first. Now we're going to add the fire pin block, hopefully to support it a bit. Take the flathead, push it down even more. Remember, be careful because spring is being compressed, so you might end up hurting yourself if you're not careful. You see, push it down. Just use small flathead and keep pushing. Here you click, it's securely in there. There you go. Now the slide is back together. Alright, now let's work on the frame. Okay, so I'm going to depress the hammer. Keep it like that. Now I'm going to take the second screwdriver that we have, the little bigger one, for the grip screws. Now the best way I see to get these grips off is to go into the magazine well and just give it a little push. Pops right off. And we're going to flip the frame over and do this other side. Alright, now we got the grips off. We're going to continue moving on. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the main housing spring case right here. We're going to take our breech block and we're going to put right here so we can remove the pin right. Part removing it just like that. Here's the pin. Now the mainspring and the mainspring pin, what we're gonna have to do is compress this plunger right here. easy. Push down. Put it right here. Push down on it. Take the pin and push. And here we go. Plunger, main spring, and that. And now we have the main spring retention pin. So now to remove the hammer and the grip safety, we're gonna have to pull back the hammer so we can be able to push out the thumb safety. Found it a little easier. Make sure you put the safety on, then you push pin and you pull. Exactly like this. Now you can pull out the grip safety. Now we have the sear spring, pull out that outside. Now get the hammer and the hammer strut. Just push on right there. Hop out with the hammer pin. Now we pull out the hammer and the hammer strut right here. Now we have this safety plunger and spring right there. I'm not going to be able to remove the plunger tube because I don't have the tool for that. So now next, to remove the trigger, we have to remove the magazine release right here. How to do that, we're going to take our small flathead, we're going to compress the spring of the magazine release. Take it, turn it just a little bit. Keep going until it stops, but nice and slowly. It'll keep that spring compressed. Move it exactly like that. To break this part down more, you just pretty much do the opposite, but keep tension on it and release slowly so it doesn't eject out and you lose the spring and all that. It's right there. Now once you got to do that, we need to remove the sear connector and the disconnector. Right there. So we just pull that out, or be able to slide out. After you remove the pin, that holds it right into place, right there. So we got the sear and the disconnector right there. Now you can be able to remove the trigger just like that. To move the ejector right here, find it easier to use. Pop it up a little bit. Move the extractor. We got a pin right there on the rail, just underneath the rail. Right there. You just see it protruding out. Then we take flathead and slowly pop it out. There you go, you got the extractor out. The extractor pin all right there. And here you go, all broke down. Alright, now put it all back together. We're just going back into reverse. So let's get on to it. We're putting it back together. You might want to have a set of starter punches. It kind of does help. And make sure when you reinstall the extractor and the pin, or the extractor and the extractor pin, make sure it's flush so the slide does not catch on it. If it catches on it, you're gonna have a lot of metal shavings, and that'll put the slide out not in line. Now the sear and the disconnector is always a tricky one. Because if you don't have it just in right, you're going to be fighting with the pin to put it back into place. So once you get it in there, my best suggestion is take either a small punch and help line it up. And that's going to show whether or not that pin's going to go in, no problem. Once that's so, kind of help guide that pin in there. Now once we got the pin in there, see that disconnectors and sear won't fall out. Now we got the sear and disconnector in place, we can continue on forward. Put the safety plunger and spring back in the plunger tube, just like so. And we're going to take the hammer and hammer strut, put it in just like so. Now I'll take this pin and we just got to work with it right back in there, just like so. Now this next part is going to be really tricky if you're not paying very close attention. I'm going to take the sear spring and put it right here. There's a notch just right here to clip this in. Okay? And we got to kind of set the spring on top of the sear and the disconnector. Okay, just like so. Alright, and we're going to lay down the hammer strut, put it right back down. If it pops out, just reset it back into place. and put this right back down. Now we're going to set this off the side, and we're going to go with the main housing components. Okay, retainer, the housing spring, main spring, that right there. Now I'm going to take the main housing pin. We're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to put it right on this little notch right here. That's going to help compress it without having to struggle a whole lot. Found this to be a little bit easier to do. Granted, and compress the spring down a little bit to ensure it's all back in there, all nice and flush. Now I say to get this done first, because we're going to need this to be able to secure everything for the grip, all part of the grip part. And we're going to slide this on top of the sear spring to secure it, okay? We're not going to secure it just yet. You just use it to help put everything where we want it to be. Okay, we need to have the hammer cock back so we can put in the grip safe or the thumb safety. But first we need to put the grip safety on. What I'm going to do, since everything is all aligned, this is what makes it easier to do. I'm going to lay it down right in there, just like so. Now we're going to take the pin Alright, now we got the main housing right on here on the sear spring. What we're going to do, put the grip safety right here. Now, I'm going to take the thumb safety. This is where we need to have this cocked back, because it's going to help with installing. Okay, so like so. Put right in there. And keep warm. Now we need to compress the safety plunger spring, just like so. And there we go. Right in there. All nice and flush and perfectly. Now, this next part is easier with the hammer decocked. Put the main housing back in. But you have to make sure you get that hammer strut in where the plunger or the cap is of the main housing, so it slides right on smoothly. Now we're going to take the main housing spring, put it right back in like so. Nice and flush. Now we're going to do a function check on the hammer to make sure the sear spring and the disconnector, the grip safety, and the safety is working before we continue on further. So, hammer's cocked back, everything's all engaged. Looks like the grip safety is working since the hammer's not firing. Now we're going to compress the grip safety. And there we go. Do it one more time. Now we're going to make sure the thumb safety is working. So we're going to compress the grip safety in. See, there you go. Thumb safety is working. Everything is all good. This is a good function check. So now we're gonna put the grips back on, and we'll be back right at a fill strip position. Make sure you match the grips to exactly where they need to go. Don't tighten up the screws too tight, or you could cross thread them, break the screws, or even break the grips of over tightening them. And then we're going to move all the tools out of the way. Now we're here at a basic filled strip position. Now to clean it, what I'm doing, make sure you have a brush that matches the caliber of the firearm. Since this is a 45 ACP, I'm using a 45 gauge wire brush to clean the barrel. I am using today my Modern Spartan Systems Carbon Destroyer to help clean up all the little debris. And then for the lubrication, I am using the Modern Spartan's Accuracy Oil. I actually like this brand. This brand's actually pretty good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a nylon brush for the frame and right in here where the feed ramp is at, do is lightly pour on Carbon Destroyer on my brush. I want to scrub the rails, the slide rails, brush on both sides. Take it to the feed ramp. And take it on top. Now I'm going to take some of my drying pads and dry it off. Get every single part that I mess with. You see all that carbon so, and go again. make sure I got the feed ramp pretty good. Got everywhere else, including the slide. So I'm gonna set that off to the side now. Put a little bit more carbon destroyer. Touch up on the guide rod and recoil spring a little bit. I'll do it together. And take the barrel. I like to do, just add the carbon destroyer all around. Take the wire brush. Then once we got that, this, we'll put the cloth right here and pull it right on through. All that unused gunpowder all left in there. I suggest go about 2 or 3 times just to make sure. You don't want that build up in your firearm or in your barrel. Cause a lot of problems with accuracy and reloading and firing. A lot of malfunctions. And it came out pretty good. Now we got that clean. Now we're going to work on the slide. Slide, I usually take a wire brush, but a little bit. Don't need too much, and just start. nice and clean. And we just start putting it back together. Now we're gonna start adding the accuracy oil. So we're gonna first start off where the barrel is gonna sit right here. I'm gonna add oil into this spot, this locking part, and this locking part, and then 1 drop in front. Don't need much. Take that, 1 drop. I'm going to take the barrel, go right back in. Alright, now we got the barrel in there. We're going to set this off to the side. Now we're going to add some accuracy oil on this guide rod and spring. I'm just going to put a drop here, drop there, and just pretty much rub my finger around it to spread out the accuracy oil all the way around, just like so. Now I'm going to add the guide rod springs right there, just like so. And it's about ready to be put on. Now we're going to take the frame. I'm going to add a drop right there, flip it around, and put 1 drop on the other side, just like so. Said don't need much. And then slide this back on. Now we'll flip it over. Cock the hammer back. To me, that makes it a lot easier. Now we're going to get the linkage just right, so I make sure I use my punch to help align it inside where the slide catches. Then work it around, push it nice and slowly, go in, check right there, and we're going to slide this back to where that first notch is, where we had to take it out. Put it right back together just like so, and there we go. Now we put the recoil spring plug right there. We're going to insert the barrel bushing just like so. Turn it counterclockwise just to lock it in right there. And we're gonna compress the recoil spring and the plunger tube just like so. Turn it just like that. Keep going, and then right back together. So make sure we do a functions check. Make sure everything's all good. First, gonna wipe this down. Make sure any excess oil is off. Seems all good. We're going to do another functions check with some dummy rounds just to make sure everything is back to normal. I mean, dummy rounds, these are dummy rounds. We're gonna load them up in our magazine. just like so. I have about 6, so we're gonna make sure it will feed the dummy round in and eject it out. So, pop it in, rack it in. Now we should have 1 dummy round, so when we pull back the slide again, it should eject it out. Alright. Now since we put it all back together, so it has enough lubrication on it. There you go. That's how you disassemble and reassemble the 1911 with the function check to make sure it's all working correctly.